kilos of yarn out, so almost double of yarn in. I'm so satisfied with myself. Hanging from the planks to have like a cute, I don't know. So I have 2 socks for 2 different pairs, or for 1 pair and for a single sock. For this upcoming season, I have planned to buy a grand total of My name is Maya and welcome to my YouTube channel where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. Today is the 2nd of October 2025 and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland where I live with my gecko. Today is a very exciting day because I am filming my absolute favorite kind of video, which is the seasonal knitting plans. And it's time for the fall, which happens to be the full 1-year circle since when I started doing those seasonal knitting plans video, because the first one I filmed was in fall 2024. I have a hair. And by curiosity, I went back to check my video from last year, just to see how much of what I had planned in that video I ended up doing. And it was, well, first it was a trip down memory lane because it was very funny to see what I was up to exactly a year from now. And it was also very satisfying because I happened to have knit up most of the stuff that's in this video, which is good because there was a lot of stuff. The few reasons why I love those kinds of videos is because first, I love planning. It just scratches an itch in my brain. I just love doing that. Writing up lists and deciding what I'm gonna do when, in what order, all of that, I just love it. But I also really love going back to a list I have done in the past and checking stuff out that I've completed, and it's just, I feel so put together. I feel like I have control in my life and it's just the best. So seeing that last year's plan went so well and I almost finished almost all of them, that's very nice. So hopefully this year's fall plans video will go just as well. I don't have planned as much as last year. Okay, first let me explain how I go about those kind of plans. My idea is to plan more than I'm gonna have the time to do because I would like this list to be like a wish list from which I can pick projects depending on my mood, on the time I have available and on the brain space I have, all of that. Because today is today, but I don't know, maybe in 2 weeks something's gonna happen, maybe in December something's gonna happen, I don't know. So I just would like to plan wide so that when the time comes to actually cast on stuff, I have options and I can just select depending on my mood and depending on the context. And it's just what works the best for me. I forgot to tell you that for me a season, so I divide the year in the 4 seasons, of course, but my separations between them is a little bit different than the actual astronomical seasons or whatever. The winter season is from January, February, March. Spring is from April to June. Summer is July to September. So we just finished summer since we are the 2nd of October. And fall is October to December. So what I'm planning now will be what I'm planning to make until end of December. And on the very beginning of January, I will do the winter knitting plans. And I will go back on how the whole year 2025 went. Because I am also, on top of the knitting plans, knitting and crochet plans by the way, I am also loosely trying to stash bust. It's not like the absolute goal of my life and it's not something I think about all the time and I'm not on a yarn ban or anything, but I'm trying to get my stash down. And as much as the spring season this year really didn't go as planned, the summer season was unexpectedly good. But that's for later. Before we start, I need to have a few housekeeping notes about the logistics of today. So every time I talk about a pattern or yarn or something, I'm gonna say out loud the names. It's gonna be written on a screen and also in the description box because I'm probably gonna forget stuff, let's be real. So if you are missing any information, it's probably gonna be down there. And if you really need more information, I'm gonna have the links to everything I mentioned anyway, so you can just click that and see for yourself what you're looking for. And you can also find my measurements down there if you're interested. And All the patterns I'm going to mention are size inclusive. I'm not going to mention a lot of stuff that's not from me actually, because since I'm mostly knitting stuff that I'm designing myself, I don't have a ton of patterns from other designers, but those I will mention are size inclusive. And mine are as well, of course. Alright, with that out of the way, let's start with the stash posting update for 2025 up until now. So as a reminder, my goal for this year is to get my stash down to 7 kilos. And when I started the year, it was at 10.5 kilos. And I use kilos to track my stash, because it's just the more convenient for me. I think skeins or units is not precise enough, because when I start a skein and I have leftovers, it's not a skein anymore. And 50-gram skeins are not worth the same as 100-gram skeins. And yeah, whatever. Skeins are not precise enough for me. And I don't want to use length because it's just too cumbersome, because I track yarn with my scale, and if I want to use length, then I have to do math to get to a length when I have a weight, and it's just too much. So the simplest for me is the weight, even though it's not always very accurate in terms of how much effort I put into knitting 1 gram, because if it's like a heavy yarn, I need a lot of grams, and if it's a very thin summer yarn, I don't need a lot of grams, but whatever. For me, it's just good enough to use grams. So at the beginning of the year, I was at 10.5, and my goal is 7 kilos at the end, which means, wait, I wrote stuff down. I don't know what your stash looks like, but to me, when I saw this number, like 10.5 kilos, I was like, wow, that's a lot. But in retrospect, in 2024, so last year, I knit 10 kilos during the year, which means my stash is basically 1 year's worth of knitting, which is totally okay. I mean, it's not overboard at all, in my opinion. But I just want to mention something. PSA, please don't compare yourself to me. If you don't knit 10 kilos of yarn in a year, it's perfectly fine. I don't have a job. I mean, I have a part-time job, but I work very few hours in a week, which means I have a lot of time dedicated to knitting and designing stuff. So that's why I can knit this much. And also, I'm a super fast knitter. And the goal is not to knit a lot. My goal in my life is not to knit 10 kilos in a year. It just happens to be the case because I love knitting and I do it all the time. But if it's not your case, it's fine, it's okay, it's normal. You are probably normal and probably I am not. So no need to compare yourself to my situation, which is a little bit, how do you say that? Inhabituel, in whatever. So let's go quickly through the numbers up until now and see how well I did. So in winter, January to March, I knit 1.45 kilos. No, I had 1.45 kilos of yarn in and 2.35 kilos of yarn out. So that was excellent and I was perfectly on track. But in spring, I wasn't that good. So I had 3.45 kilos of yarn in and only 1.25 kilos of yarn out. Oops. However, I can explain. I had planned to buy 2 kilos of yarn, but the Swiss Yarn Festival happened and I just went a little bit nuts. And I received some yarn as a gift and some fiber as well, which I hadn't planned. So yeah, it wasn't like, I couldn't have planned it, obviously. So that's why I had a lot more yarn in, and I had so little yarn out because spring is like peak summer knitting season for me, and I was knitting only with super thin, lightweight yarns. And I think if I counted the number of meters I have knit up in spring, it would be kind of equal to what I have knit in the winter, for example. But since I was using so lightweight and thin yarns, it was only equal to like a little bit more than a kilo, even though I knit so much, which is why I have this kind of values. But yeah, I'm still okay and I'm still happy with what I did because I still knit a lot. It's just that it was lightweight fibers. Anyway, so the past season, summer, that's where I was good. So I had 2 kilos of yarn in, and I had a whopping 3.8 kilos of yarn out. So almost double of yarn in. I'm so satisfied with myself. First, this happened because I distashed a lot of knitted ends, so I just sent it out to people. It was a bit more than a kilo, so that played a big role. Secondly, so for me in summer, I'm in peak fall, winter knitting season, so I was knitting with heavy yarns that were heavy. So it was going pretty fast. Whenever I finished a sweater or a garment, it was like 600, 700, even more grams out. So yeah, that was going fast because of that. And third, I just didn't buy a lot of yarn this season, and a lot of the yarn I got in was actually unexpectedly gifted by my local yarn shop, Douce Broderie, because we had a lot of collabs planned together, and she just gifted me the yarn for those collabs. So I didn't knew those were coming. However, I have knit up most of the yarn I have received by now, which means if I hadn't had those unexpected yarn ins, I think it was like 700 grams or something, would be knit up from my stash. But since I had a lot more yarn in, yeah, whatever. I'm not complaining, I'm just stating the fact that I had unexpected yarn come in, and everything I need from that wasn't counted in my stashing down goals, because I had more yarn in, whatever, you get what I mean. So all in all, I'm pretty happy about where I'm at for the year. So if we do a quick math to see what I have left to do for the last season, so fall season, to reach my goals. So I want to have a final stash balance of 7 kilos, and currently it's 10 kilos according to my Excel sheet, which means I have to knit up 3 kilos or more if I buy yarn. So for example, if I buy 0 grams of yarn, I have to knit 3 kilos to reach my goal. And if I buy a kilo of yarn, I have to knit 4 kilos to reach my goal. And as my summer knitting showed, I am perfectly capable of knitting up 3 kilos of yarn in a season. And I also have a couple of things I could destash, nowhere near as much as I did last season, but I have a few things I could donate, so yeah. If I'm really in a pinch at the end of the year, I can donate stuff. All right, now the good news is that for this upcoming season, I have planned to buy a grand total of 100 grams. I just don't need yarn for any of my plans. Everything is from stash, except for a pair of socks. So I plan kind of 100 grams, but it could be more, it could be less, it depends, because I need a few different colors, so I don't really know. But that's everything I need to buy. However, I have a couple of projects that are gifts, and I could use stash yarn, but it would be better to buy new stuff. But yeah, I have the two options, but if I use the stash yarn, it's not going to be the best those gifts can be, and the recipients deserve the best. So I'm probably going to buy new yarn, but I don't know yet. I'm going to see when I get there. Which means I just need to knit up 3 and something grams, kilos, for this season, which again is doable. So I hope I will reach my goal at the end of the year. We will see. Stay tuned if you want the answer. All right, time to get into the meat of things. So what I like to do is to review the plans of the past season and just see what I ended up doing and what I didn't before going into the plans for the next season. So I had 3 categories. The first one was sweater, cardigans, and tees, so garments basically. The second one was accessories. The third one was random stuff, kind of, but it's homeware basically. I don't know why I didn't come up with the name homeware before, but it's homeware, not random stuff. All right, so in the first category, I wanted to do I had to finish up the muscle tank in fingering weight, which I did. I had like just the bottom hem to do, so that was super quick. So I finished that. I wanted to do another version of the muscle tank, which is a pattern of mine, by the way, in DK weight, so I finished that as well. And I needed to finish my Patagonia Peaks in Aran weight, which is also a design of mine, which was an absolute beast. So I finished that, and I'm pretty happy about it. So that was a lot of yarn out, because this thing is heavy. I wanted to knit up the grass tee, tank, vest, however you want to call it, by Rebecca Clow, which I tested for her. And that was on small needles with thin yarn, but it went pretty quickly. So yeah, anyway, I finished it. Then I wanted to knit up the Patagonia Peaks, but in DK weight, which I couldn't do because I received the yarn for it last week. So I had no way to knit it up this season, so it's going to be pushed back to the next season. I wanted to knit up another design of mine, which is the White Day cardigan, and I did finish it. And let me tell you, I've been wearing it every day since I finished it. It's just so perfect. I mean, the fact that it's white means I can wear it with anything, and I just love cardigans. I just realized this year that sweaters are not for me. It's just too cumbersome. It's it's difficult to put on and off, and if I'm overheating, I cannot open them up. And cardigans are just the best, and now I have a cardigan that I knitted up, and it's so warm, it's so soft, it's so... Anyway, we're not here for this, but I wear it all the time, and I'm so glad I did this one. And then I wanted to knit up another cardigan, which is also a design of mine, and it's the shady hoodie, and I finished it last week. I blocked it, I finished it, I just need to add the buttons, but the knitting part is done. And I can already picture myself living in it for the rest of the season. And yeah, at least I'm gonna wear something else than my white day cardigan for the rest of the winter. Anyway, so the shady hoodie is done. Now, I wanted to knit up a baby jacket for my godson, which I didn't do because my plans got kind of shuffled around because of the unexpected acquisitions, so I didn't have the time to do this one. But I'm definitely gonna try and make it in the fall. Then I wanted to do the mixed rib cami by Florence Miller. I almost cast it on, but that was just before I went to the shop, Douce Broderie, where I received a lot of yarn, and I took the yarn out before going there, and I put it next to my winder, and I was like, should I wind up the yarn now or after? And I looked up the time, and I was like, oh no, I don't have the time, so I'm gonna do it when I come home. But I came home with a ton of yarn, so I never cast it on. But I was this close from doing it. Then I wanted to do a pair of flowy shorts. I had a pattern in mind before, but I realized it wasn't size inclusive, and it was knit bottom up, and it wasn't exactly what I wanted. It didn't have pockets. And yeah, so many things were not working that I decided to just do my own, so I'm gonna design a pair of shorts exactly like I want them to be, and size inclusive. But again, I haven't had the time to do that, but I'm gonna cast them on next season. Definitely, I hope. Now, I wrote fix various older knits because it's just what it is. I have a few older knits that they're not perfect. I can wear them, but they're not perfect. And I just wanted to fix them. And I did. So I did a whole video about that, where I basically fixed a ton of stuff in a day. I wanted to lengthen a mini mock neck tank. I wanted to shorten the straps of like a linen big bag, how do you call them? The basic rectangular bags, I forgot the name. So that's not knitting, but it's fiber related. I wanted to redo the neckline of my dress, which I mentioned before. And I wanted to redo the bottom hem of my muscle tank, which again I mentioned at the very beginning of these plans. And I wanted to graft together the body of a sweater that I cut in half. I had to do some surgery, and I did that. So that's 5 items that I fixed, which I'm pretty happy about, because basically that's 5 finished objects, even though I didn't have to knit them up, mostly. So yeah, that was good. And I'm definitely planning to fix more stuff in fall. Alright, for the next category, which is accessories, I wasn't that good compared to the garments. So I wanted to knit up a pair of design ID for mittens I had in mind. So now the mittens have a name, it's the Gecko Mittens. They're super cute. And my plan was to knit them up with my first handspun yarn, but when I went to the shop that I mentioned earlier, she gave me 2 other yarns to knit up other samples, and I have knit up those samples, but I haven't knit up the ones that were actually in my plans, which is the pair in my handspun. So I have knit up 2 other pairs of the Gecko Mittens, but not the one I wanted. So I guess I haven't done them, but I still have done them. Whatever. This is transferring definitely to the fall plans. I'm gonna knit them up this weekend or next week. Now, still in the handspun category, I wanted to knit up, I have a design for a hood, because the mittens are in half-brioche, and I had an idea for a hood also in half-brioche, because it just goes well with the handspun yarns. And I haven't finished the handspun yarn yet. I haven't finished spinning it up yet, so I couldn't do that, but it's definitely coming. I wanted to knit up a hat for my boyfriend, Mr. Tinks, and I haven't had the opportunity to do it because I'm gonna explain. When I get back to this in the fall plans, I'm gonna explain, but yeah, something happened. And the last thing, I wanted to knit up a bow with the leftovers from a camisole that I knit up last season. And I did. It's not really a bow, it's more like a ribbon, but I did finish that one. And for the last category, which is homeware, Again, I didn't do a ton of stuff, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. I was so ready, so set up, so convinced I would knit up a stash busting blanket in garter stitch using my Nuit Blanche stash, which is right in front of me. And I didn't, because I destashed Nuit Blanche. Basically, I wanted to knit up more, like a kilo of Nuit Blanche by doing this garter blanket. That was in French, blanket. And since I destashed a kilo, I didn't really have the motivation to do this blanket anymore, so I didn't. But I still want to do it because I destashed the big sweater quantities, but I still have the small little bits and bobs of colors left, and I still want to do the blanket. So hopefully I'm gonna do it this season, but we'll see. I also wanted to do some lampshades, so I have done one already. And again, I wanted to use leftovers Nuit Blanche to do those, because I did the first lampshade using mohair, but I only had one skein of mohair in my stash, and I don't even have leftovers. I just don't like mohair, it's itchy for me. And I didn't want to buy mohair because I could use Nuit Blanche. And I almost cast it on. I swatched. I was ready to cast on. And then I went to the yarn shop and I received a ton of yarn, so I didn't. But I'm definitely gonna make them this season. Then I wanted to do a jasmine pumpkin, which is this little cutie here, and I wanted to do another one, which I did. It was super fast, it took like 2 hours. I wanted to knit up, that wasn't very precise, but I wanted like a curtain type of thing, or like a veil, or a big, kind of a shawl or whatever, because I would like to do some decoration for back here. It's ready. I have both the tablard, the étagère, whatever, and they are ready to go. I just need to put them up, but I can never find the time, but it's gonna happen. And my plan was to have like a veil or a curtain or whatever hanging from the planks to have like a cute, I don't know, it was my idea. But again, I destashed the Nuit Blanche, and the only one I had in quantity big enough to do this project was destashed, so I cannot do it anymore, which is fine because it was the type of project that I decided to do because I had yarn in stash and I wanted to use it up. So I'm not gonna replace this project with another yarn because it's fine. If I don't have it, I'm gonna survive. It's gonna be okay. So this is going out of the plans. Now, the Arctic morning blanket is a huge colorwork blanket that I'm almost done with. It's almost finished. I just need to do 4 more hexagons, but I just completely lost steam on that, and I'm keeping them in the plans because if I happen to want to do one day, it's there for me, and so that I don't forget about it. But I'm not sure I'm ready yet to do it. But maybe this season will be the season. Who knows? But yeah, I didn't touch it. And the last plan was an emotional support chicken. And I wanted to use up the hand-spun leftovers for my other projects because I know I'm gonna have leftovers because, yeah, mittens and the hood, yeah, it was just not gonna use up everything. And I wanted a project that could showcase all my hand-spun. And it's probably gonna be hanging out up here once I have the étagère set up. But I haven't finished knitting up with my hand-spun, so I don't have leftovers, so I cannot knit the emotional support chicken. But hopefully it's gonna come next season. Alright, now the last bonus category is the unplanned finished objects, so stuff that I knit up that I hadn't planned. So that's all collabs with the local yarn shop. So I had the sweet sweater, and it's kind of finished, but not completely. I have only the bottom hem left to do, and that's all, so I'm counting it as finished because basically I'm gonna finish it while I edit this video, so yeah, it's gonna be done. So that's considered a finished object. I have the Gecko Mittens, all the versions in non-handspun, and I have them here. So I have 3 pairs. This is the pair in ribbing in Aran weight. This is the pair in half-brioche or half-fisherman's rib in Aran weight. And this is the pair in DK weight ribbing, 2 colors. And I still need to knit up a whole other samples because as you can see there are a lot of different versions and gauges, and I still need to do the ones in handspun, but yeah, that's coming. Anyway, I did finish 3 pairs of mittens that weren't planned. And I also have, again as a collab with the shop, a beginner sock pattern, and I knit up 1, so I still have to do the second one, but I did knit up a sock. Alright, that's all for the past season's plan and how well I did, so I'm pretty happy about my achievements. I did have a few things that were unplanned, but it's okay. It's things that I'm very excited about. I had a really good time making up, so that's good. I'm happy. Now, let's finally get into what you're here for. I think, I don't know. I'm here for the stash busting and the checking out the older plans, but if you're only here for the fall plans, here they are, finally. So, first category, garments. This time I don't have a lot of garments because I have a lot of accessories, like a ton of mittens, I have socks, I have small stuff, so not a lot of garments, but it's okay. So the first one is the Patagonia Peaks in DK weight. I have the yarn, I received it last week, as I mentioned, and it's here, still in the package. I don't need it, so I haven't taken it out. But this is Explore Knits Boucle DK. So maybe you can see. It's boucle. I love this palette. It's gonna be awesome. This is the main color for the yoke, and then I'm gonna do those for the triangles, peaks. I think I'm gonna run out of those two, but it was a pre-order and I ordered them in April, which was before I knit up the first sample in Aran weight, which is in Aran weight anyway, so yeah, I fear I'm gonna run out of yarn, but hopefully I won't. I don't know. The colorways are down below. Next, yeah, it's all the stuff I have mentioned. I want to knit up those flowy shorts that I talked about, and this is the yarn I have planned. So this is Pernel by Natisea, which is actually the yarn I'm wearing here. So it's, if I get up, it's a very gorgeous yarn with an absolutely incredible drape. And having a pair in this kind of fabric, a pair of shorts, I'm forgetting words, a pair of shorts in this fabric is going to be awesome. I have 4 skeins, which hopefully should be enough, but I really want to make them top down so that I can use everything. I'm going to design something. They're going to be wide, like, it's going to be kind of like a skater style skirt with a lot of fabric. And, oh, the sun is shining and I'm getting lit up by the floor again, sorry. Yeah, they're gonna have a lot of fabric and probably pockets, and they're gonna be awesome. And I can't wait. I'm super excited. And I hope I'm gonna have enough yarn. But it's okay, I can get this yarn pretty easily. Next is the baby jacket, and I have the yarn, which is the only one I forgot. This yarn is what I want to use. It's leftovers from a huge cable jacket I knit up for my dad, and I had 3 balls left, so a little bit less than 300 grams, which is not enough for anything for an adult, but I can do a baby jacket. And I don't know what pattern I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna do garter stitch, maybe a raglan, I don't really know. I know there are some patterns out there, but I don't need a pattern to knit up a garter stitch baby jacket, so I'm just gonna improvise something and it's gonna be perfectly fine. I don't know, maybe I'm gonna knit up a pattern that's completely different with cables or whatever. I have no idea. I just want to do a baby jacket with this yarn, and it's coming, I don't know when. So those were the 3 garments that I really want to make this season. And then I have a few bonus, like if I have the time, I can make them, but if it doesn't happen, it's not the end of the world. So the first one is coming again from the summer plans, which is the Mixed Rib Cami by Florence Miller. And I have the yarn. As I mentioned, I almost cast it on, so this is what I'm planning to use. It's Woolberry Fiber Company Berry Natural, so this is non-superwash merino. It's incredibly soft, like it's, wow. I really love this yarn, it's one of my favorite bases. it's just amazing. Anyway, and the colorway is Frost. I'm completely obsessed with those cool pastel, lavender, pink kind of colors. It's just, I'm really gravitating towards those type of shades lately. I don't know why. It's just whatever. I love pastel tones, especially if they are lavender or pink. If it happens, I'm happy. If it doesn't, it's fine. The yarn is ready. It's waiting for me. And if it's not this season, it's going to be the next one. And if it's not the next one, it's going to be the one after that. The next plan, that's something I had in mind since forever, but yeah, you will understand why it's difficult to actually take the leap vers le grand pas, sauter le cap. I have knit up a Lanark sweater by Rebecca Clow, and it doesn't fit at all. It's super uncomfortable, the back is too small, the fabric is overstretched over my shoulder, it looks very bad, and yeah, it just doesn't fit me at all. I guess it's not the pattern's fault, because I just have proportions that are a bit weird, but my proportions are very close to men's body, and the pattern was marketed as perfectly fitting for males. So I just went in there thinking it would fit me, but it doesn't. So I always feel a little bit frustrated about that, because the pattern was supposed to fit male, and I have male proportions, and it doesn't fit me. So yeah, anyway. This sweater is gorgeous, and it was a ton of work. I had to knit up a sleeve like 3 to 4 times, and I love it, but it just doesn't fit me. And there is so much anger and frustration linked to this that every time I wear it, I'm annoyed. I'm in a bad mood, and yeah, it's just not a good thing to have. So I need to frog that. And on top of that, the yarn I used is also Woolberry Fiber Company's, but it's a DK base of this, so it's very natural DK, which is the merino non-superwash yarn, which is incredibly soft, like really, really, really soft, but it peels a lot, like next level. And for a half-fisherman's rib, it's just not a good choice, because on one side you have the small stitches that look like, I have half-fisherman's rib here. So on one side you have the elongated kind of stitches here, and those are a bit loose and fluffy, and they look, yeah, they are loose. And on the other side, it's where the stitches are tighter, and they look like this, because they are kind of stacked close on top of each other, because on one side you have slip stitches, and on the other side you don't. So on the side where you don't have slip stitches, they are kind of stacked together, so this is denser. But on the other side, it's looser. And loose gauge, with a yarn that peels, it peels a lot, and it's impossible. Every time I touch it, there is a peel forming, and it's another reason why I really don't like this sweater. The yarn choice was just not good. So I really need to unravel it. But what to do with this awesome yarn that was so expensive, and I love the color of? And I had a plan. I wanted to knit up the All Good dress by, I don't know her name. I mean, I don't have enough yarn to do like an ankle length, but I like just above the knee length, and I think I had 6 skeins of DK weight, so I think that's enough. But something about the sleeves was just not vibing for me, and I just didn't really like the finishings, and yeah, something wasn't working. And this summer, I released a pattern, the Nuit Blanche Tee, which comes in fingering and a DK weight version. And I realized that basically the Nuit Blanche Tee is the same like vibe as the All Good dress, but with shaping so that it fits your body and you don't have the weird folds happening here, because there is a sleeve cap. And it was just the perfect contender for that. So I just need to knit my Nuit Blanche Tee DK weight version into a dress, and then I have an All Good dress that fits correctly. No shade on the All Good dress, because maybe you're not bothered by this, it's just personal preference. I don't like it, but maybe for you it's perfectly fine, and good for you. I'm happy you don't have as much pet peeves as I do, and please live your life like you want to live it. So I finally decided I'm gonna frog my Lanark and make it into a dress, and finally get rid of all the bad feelings and frustration that's linked with this particular sweater, and I'm gonna knit up another half-fisherman's rib sweater with a high collar, because I love this idea. The quarter zip in the front is awesome, and it's just, I really want this in my wardrobe, but just not in this yarn and with better shaping for my weird body. And that obviously won't do anything to my stash, because the yarn of the Lanark is not in my stash, and if I unravel it, I'm just gonna have yarn in that's gonna go out immediately, but it's okay. Then lastly, I want to fix again a lot of various knits I have knit up in the past, and I want to make better. So I'm not gonna do a list, but I do have a list on my phone, and yeah, I'm just gonna fix some stuff. I don't know what yet, but I really wish to fix all the knits during the fall season. That's all for the garments. So only, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, only 4 garments, but it's okay. Now for the accessories, I have a ton more. The first one is something I decided yesterday. I have this yarn. It's a single skein of Iron Weight yarn from a discontinued brand. I really don't like this color. It's absolutely not my type of color. Completely out of, yeah, I just don't like it. And I don't know what to do with it because it's a single skein and it's discontinued, so I cannot even get more. I got this in the mystery pack, and in the mystery pack, I said I would like to have this and this, and I got exactly the opposite. It's a mystery pack. It's part of the game, but yeah, And as you probably may know if you followed my past videos, my dad broke his leg last month. Now he's doing fine, but one of the, how do you say that? Dégâts collatéraux from having a broken leg is that your feet is, how do you say that? Oh my god, I can't talk. Gonfle. Il a le pied gonflé. And he cannot fit into his normal socks anymore. And it's winter, I mean it's winter, the winter is coming up, cold season is coming up, and his feet are cold, but he cannot put anything on his feet because it's too big. So I'm just gonna knit up a sock with this single skein. It's like, what, 166 meters? So I'm gonna knit a big sock. I can do only one, obviously, but it's okay because he has only one broken leg. And I need to do it pretty fast because he needs it now. So I'm gonna cast this on very quickly and finish it up very quickly. I know I can knit up a sock in like 4 hours, so hopefully I can give it to him next week so that he can have warm feet. And I can finally do something with this lonely skein that was hanging out in my stash for like 3 years. All right, now as I mentioned before, I have, where are they? The Gecko Mittens with my handspun. So I have a swatch here. Yeah, here. I have the swatch. So I have a blue skein and a grey skein. And yeah, I'm gonna do a pair of mittens. Just this pair. And I'm gonna have a ton of yarn left over, so maybe I will do 2 pairs, who knows? And maybe I can even do like a matching headband with a similar pattern. I don't know, but that's planned. Oh, and the yarn, by the way, is 100% Corriedale. I mean, the handspun yarn is 100% Corriedale. And it was my first handspun. And I also have a few more of those that I need to do. So this is the ribbing in 2-color DK weight, and I would like to do ribbing, no, half-brioche 2-color DK weight as well. So another sample like this one. I think I need to do again this version because the cuff is in ribbing, but I changed up the pattern. It wasn't working, so I had to change up and have this in half-brioche as well. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna reknit those or just make another pair. I don't know, but maybe I have a second pair, a third or 4, depending on how you count. Gecko mittens I need to do. And I, of course, need to do the second sock. So I have 2 socks for 2 different pairs, or for 1 pair and for a single sock to do. The pattern, by the way, is a pattern of mine. I mean, I wrote up a pattern for a vanilla sock, but it's just a vanilla sock with a short row heel. You literally Google vanilla sock with a short row heel and you will find a pattern for that. Now, for my handspun, I mentioned the hood, and I have not the yarn, but the singles here. So I have those 2 bobbins that I need to ply together, and this bobbin with another one that's still on my spinner that I'm gonna ply with the other bobbin. And with those, I'm gonna do the hood in half-fisherman's rib, and it's gonna be 2 colors like the swatch I showed here, striped in half-brioche / half-fisherman's rib. I'm super excited. I really want to finish it, but I need to finish the handspun first, which is kind of part of the plans. I need to finish my handspun. Now we are entering into the. So again, those are stuff that I absolutely need to do, and now we are entering into the gift knits bonus. I don't know if I'm gonna do everything, but hopefully at least a few. So the first one is a pair of socks for Mr. Tinks, because if you follow me on Instagram, I bought him a pair of Birkenstocks, Birks, and he absolutely loves them, and he wears them all the time. And the other day, he came out of his room with like the biggest grin on his face, and I was like, what? Why are you smiling? And I looked at his feet, and he has the Birkenstock and a pair of hand-knit socks I gifted to him, and he was like so happy with the combination of the 2, and it was just so sweet. He didn't even know that Birkenstock with hand-knit socks was actually a thing. He just kind of discovered it by himself. And yeah, he's just so cute, so I really want to make him more socks. And the other day I saw, I was watching Fruity Knitting, and one of the episodes with Charlotte Stone, and she talked about a sock pattern that's called Home is Where You Park It, and it's a super cute pair with like Vans on the cuff, and it's just so cute. And the best is that my boyfriend Van is exactly those colors. It's white on the top and turquoise on the bottom. It would be so perfect. He would be so happy to have a pair of socks with his Van. He says it's our Van, but it's his Van, but whatever. It would be so sweet. He would be so happy. So I'm definitely going to try and do that. However, I don't have the yarn. I don't have sock yarn in a big enough quantity for feet of his size, and I don't have turquoise yarn, and I don't have white, so I cannot really do them. What I do have is some leftovers of a self-striping, and there is a turquoise stripe and a white stripe, but I'm not even sure they are one after the other, so I would need to cut the yarn, and it's stripes, so if I need more than one stripe to do the color work, I'm gonna have to cut, yeah, and it's the leftover, so I'm not even sure I have enough. Anyway, I'm probably gonna have to buy the yarn for those socks, which is the only thing I need to buy, I'm planning to buy, hopefully. The other things where I maybe will need to buy stuff is for a hat, again for Mr. Tinks. Now, my initial plan was to unravel a hat I have already knit up for him, but it's a little bit too small, because basically I had one skein of DK weight yarn, and I used up like a quarter of it to do a bow, an Augustine's number 25 bow for myself. And I used up the leftovers, so like 70-80 grams to do a hat, but the hat is too small because it wasn't enough yarn. And the shape is not exactly the best. Basically, Mr. Tinks doesn't wear it. So my plan was to unravel my bow, because I wasn't wearing it either, and unravel the hat to do a bigger hat. But I was about to unravel the bow, like it was on my pile of stuff to unravel, and I bought a dress to go to a wedding, and I didn't do it on purpose, but it was exactly the color of my bow, and I was like, I'm gonna wear the bow with the dress. But it's kind of my only like beautiful dress to go to dressed up parties or weddings. So this dress with this bow are gonna be the thing I wear all the time, every time I go to dressed up stuff. So I'm not gonna unravel the bow, which means I cannot do a hat bigger, unless I do a folded brim and I do another color with the inside, but I'm not sure my boyfriend is gonna be happy with that. So I need to buy more yarn, unless I do this thing with the other color, but yeah, I'm not really sure. So I'm probably gonna buy a skein of yarn for this hat, but I don't know. Yeah, it's in the air. I need to do a hat for my boyfriend. I have an idea in mind for the shape. I would like to do a Manhattan hat, the same shape as a Manhattan hat by Tori Yu, except this pattern is in bottom up, and I want to do it top down because I want to use up all the yarn. And the last accessory plan is also a gift knit. It's a cowl for my mom, because my mom is allergic to cold. I don't know if you ever heard about that, but it's something that apparently can happen, especially when you get older. And it just happened one year. When she was going out and there is like cold weather or wind that's blowing, she gets like really red and itchy patches on her skin that's exposed to the wind. So like if her coat ends here, her hand is going to be all red and swollen, but the rest is going to be just fine because it's not exposed to the cold. And it just happened one day. She started having this allergy to the cold, which is really weird, but it's really that. It's something that exists. There is a treatment, like you can do injections every few months, but still, yeah, it's difficult for her, and she never really liked the cold, but now it's getting really difficult, like for obvious physiological reasons. She cannot stand the cold. Like if she drinks something cold, her belly will start to hurt, and she can do the test sometime when you take an ice cube and she puts it on her skin for a few seconds, and then she takes it out, and there is this very red, swollen, itchy patch that appears just where the ice cube was. So that's how she can check if she's still allergic or not, and of course she is still allergic. Anyway, she has mentioned to me that the cowls I have knit for myself that have a triangular shape on the front, look very interesting for her because she doesn't like when she wears a scarf and there is always a little hole here because you wrap it around your neck and then you have the two ends that hang and you close them like this, but there is always a hole here. And then she gets a patch of red and swollen skin here because the cold can still enter there. And she did say that the cowls that have a front V like this would cover this patch and would be super nice for her. So I don't know if I'm gonna give one of mine to her or knit another one, because the one I could give to her, I think it's probably gonna be itchy for her because it's itchy for me, it's in more hair. So I'm just gonna have to make her try it on. And if it's not too itchy, I can give it to her. But it's the one I wear the most, so I don't really want to part with it. So the other solution would be to buy more yarn and knit up another one for her. I have some options in stash, but maybe it's going to be itchy. Or I can use this, which is leftovers from sweater I just finished knitting up. And this is very, 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 very soft when you wash it. It's kind of rustic like this, but once it's blocked, it's super soft. But this is really not the color that I see on her. This kind of dark black heathered, it just doesn't suit her. So it would be soft, it would be warm, it would be perfect, except I'm not sure she will like the color, so I don't know. I have something in stash, but it wouldn't be perfect. So I might as well just buy something else to do something perfect. I don't know, we'll see. But I would like to make a cowl for my mom. Now, last category, which is homeware. So let's start with the lampshades. I'm going to show you a picture. Again, I made this one is mohair, and I would like to do another. I need 4 lampshades for my apartment. So 1 here in the living room, 2 in the corridor, and 1 in the kitchen. And I have 1 up until now, and I need 3 more. And I have a few ideas for what patterns I'm going to do. I'm completely self-drafting them, by the way. I don't think there is a lampshade pattern on Ravelry. I just cast on some stitches, and then since it's very elastic on big needles, I can just stretch it out to the size of the hoop I have. I have a few ideas. One is going to have cables, another one is going to have some kind of lace, and for the last one I don't know, but it's very fun to do, it's easy, it's in the round, and it's kind of an emergency project I keep for if I have to leave to go somewhere and I don't have a portable project. Those kind of things are perfect, so I kind of leave it to the side for if something comes up and I need an emergency project. So I would like to do 2, but at least 1, hopefully, this season. Next is the one I mentioned earlier again, which is the stash busting blanket for my Nuit small leftovers things in garter stitch. So my idea is to cast on in a corner and start with the smaller amounts until I run out of yarn, so increase on each side so that I get a corner like this. And since I have less stitches in the corner, I'm going to do to a certain length, and then I switch to a leftover that has a bit more yarn, more yardage to it, so I can do a little bit more, but I have more stitches, so hopefully the stripes are going to be kind of about the same width throughout. I definitely won't have enough to do a full blanket. I think I can do half a blanket with what I have as leftovers. But it's fine. It's easy to buy more yarn to finish a blanket, obviously. So I would like to at least start this blanket, but we will see if I have the time or not. It's kind of, now that I have distashed the big sweater quantities, I don't feel as pressured by my Nuit stash anymore. So if it doesn't happen, it's fine. I have another blanket planned that I would really like to do, and I want to do it more than the thing I just mentioned, which is a switch-up blanket by Laura Penrose with a black main color. I mean a dark main color. I just love, I love color work, or just colors in general that have a black main color. It just, I love it. So I have Filcolana Peruvian in charcoal melange, I think. I should have enough to do a whole blanket. And I want to pair it with a few different things. So the first one, so this is just a random basket with a ton of random stuff in it that just hangs near my winder. And here you can tell I have a few minis from an advent calendar that's also from a brand that's discontinued. It's the same brand than here, so it's Olen, but it doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, I got the advent calendar, and those are the non-superwash skeins, but I was missing 5 skeins when I received my calendar, which was, I was so annoyed because the package was like a big plastic bag, and the skins were thrown inside the plastic bag, just loose like this inside the bag. And of course, when the customs opened the bag, a few fell out. And I'm pretty sure I had to have a full skein as well with the calendar, but there wasn't any full skein in the pack. And I did write to the maker, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna send you the missing yarn, no problem. And then she never answered to me again. So I have a few skeins of this advent calendar. So it was half superwash hand dyed and half milled tonal colors. And I'm missing 3 of the milled colors, and I'm missing 2 of the hand dyed superwash. Anyway, so that's not enough to finish the blanket. However, I have a lot of fingering weight leftovers from my other projects, and I can double them up to use in a DK weight blanket. So I'm gonna get rid of this advent calendar and my leftovers fingering weight non-superwash yarns. So for example, when I finish this top, I'm probably gonna have like half a skein left, which I can use in the blanket. It's gonna be like a leftovers blanket, so I'm really excited about it. I really want to make it. And hopefully this advent season, like starting from the 1st of December, the ideal plan would be to put all the like small leftovers of fingering weights and the mini skeins in a bag, and every day I can, like, I don't know, ask Mr. Tinks to pick a mini skein in the bag, and I can knit up a triangle or a square of the switch-up blanket every day, maybe 2, who knows. And it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited, and I really hope I have the time to do this December. Battery change, I was almost done. So the last 2 things are the Arctic morning blanket that, again, I'm putting it here because maybe I'm gonna have the motivation to finish it, but let's be real, probably not. But I'm still keeping it in the plan so that I just don't forget about it. And the last one is the emotional support chicken. And hopefully I'm gonna have leftovers this season. I'm pretty sure I will. And I can use up those leftovers to do the chicken, and maybe I'm gonna finish it and it's gonna be here behind me on the shelves. That's the word I was looking for, the shelves behind me that I'm gonna put up hopefully next week. I don't know. Maya from the future, I forgot to tell you 2 things. The first one is I forgot a plan. This is, I don't know how you call that in English, it's like jute. It's this kind of ropey material that you can do rugs or whatever with it. And I have done those crochet things that I use to put on the feet of chairs to protect the ground from the chair sliding on the ground and just doing scratches and marks. And I just bought new chairs that are in metal, so it's a bit more aggressive for the ground, so I really need to get on and finish those. I already have 4 on the chair I use the most, but I need to do, I have 3 more chairs. So I have 3 here, I need 1 more to do another chair, and then 8 more. But they are pretty hard on the hand because it's a very small circumference, and it's kind of a tight gauge because I want them to actually protect the ground. So yeah, it's taking quite a lot of time, but hopefully I can finish them. I also don't need to make them as tall, so I can do them half the length, and it's going to be just fine. So that's also a plan. I would like to do those. And by the way, this is what's currently taking the most weight in my stash, because I have like more than 1 kilo of this thing, because it's super, super heavy. So now that I have gotten my stash, my Nuit Blanche stash down to a kind of a normal amount, this should be the next thing I address. But it's not going to be for this season. Maybe next season, so winter, I'm going to do something with this. We're gonna see. It's coming. And the last thing I wanted to mention is I completely forgot to tell you what I'm wearing. So this is my own design. This is the road trip jacket. It's the short sleeve version. So there is also a long sleeve version. This one is knit up with the Candide by the Rerum Natura held double. And it's a cotton and wool blend. It's very, very soft. It's very easy to wear. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. And it's just... it looks store-bought. I think it's beautiful. I'm very proud about it. And the one I'm wearing below, this is the Lila top by Kadri. It's something I test knit for her last year. And so the yarn you know already because I mentioned it, but it's my most worn tank top kind of thing. I wear it all the time. It's my default. It's so easy to wear. I love it so much. And yeah, that's what I'm wearing. I'll let you go back to present Maya. And that's it. That's all my plans. So I hope you found some inspirations among them. A lot of them are patterns of mine that are not out yet, which I'm sorry about, but they are coming out pretty soon. The mittens are gonna come out 1st of December. The socks, you don't need a pattern from me to do vanilla socks. And the Patagonia Peaks, the iron version, is gonna come out in a few weeks, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And the DK weight version is gonna come out mid-January? I don't remember. Next year. Anyway, even if you cannot have like patterns to actually click to buy and then knit up, I hope you got inspirations maybe on how to do your own plans for the next season. The idea of a wish list that you can choose from without pressuring yourself to do everything, I think it's good for your mental health because you have the joy of planning, getting inspired, choosing yarn to fit a pattern, choosing a pattern to fit some yarn, and like planning your stash busting ideas without having the pressure to do everything. And if something doesn't happen in the plans, it's okay. You don't feel bad because you never told yourself that you had to do it. And also the fact that I only plan for 3 months ahead and not like a whole year also means that every 3 months I get to reset because a lot of things can change in 3 months. Because for example, when you do like a make 9, where you start the year like in January and you plan out 9 things you're gonna do throughout the whole year, and then you get to November and you're like, oh, I'm not inspired anymore by what I had in this make 9 because that was like 10 months ago and so many things happen. In 10 months you can like change partner, change apartment, change your job, and maybe you just don't want to need the same things anymore. So that's why I like to have small amounts of time and plan more, just because it feels better that way, at least to me. That's how my brain works. If your brain doesn't work like that, please don't do it. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I'm gonna leave you now. I need to finish my sweater that I'm supposed to have finished already. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you find some inspiration. I hope this was, if not useful, at least entertaining for you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your comments. Tell me what your plans are for the upcoming season, or maybe for the upcoming year. What gift knitting you have plans, whatever. Just tell me about your plans. I'm curious to know. And yeah, thank you for your support, for your comments, for your likes. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future content from me. I hope to see you again next time. Next week will be a regular podcast episode. And until then, happy knitting. I love you. Bye.